That flight you just booked? It probably costs more than you think. Airlines have been changing the rules lately. Same ticket, same route. But one wrong click during booking can easily cost you hundreds of extra dollars. And the worst part? Most travelers don't notice until they've already paid. And by then, fixing it is usually a headache. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the biggest changes airlines are rolling out right now and how to avoid wasting money on your next trip. Let's start with the part every traveler feels first. Flights are getting more expensive. Jet fuel was already unpredictable, summer demand was already pushing prices up, and the conflict with Iran added even more pressure by disrupting one of the world's most important oil shipping routes. When fuel costs get shaky, airlines usually don't absorb that pain for long. They pass it on to passengers. So yes, the ticket itself may cost more, but the real trap starts after you click on the fare. You search for a flight, see a price that looks reasonable, and think, okay, not bad. Then the booking page starts asking questions. A checked bag? Extra. Choosing a seat? Extra. Sitting next to your spouse, your kid, or the friend you're traveling with? Sometimes extra again. By the time you reach the payment screen, that reasonable fare has become a very different number. And airlines know exactly how this works. A big price jump makes people leave the page. But a $35 bag fee here, a $28 seat fee there, and a few add-ons spread across the booking process, most travelers keep clicking. But those small charges add up fast. That's why fee transparency became such a big fight. The Department of Transportation had a rule that would have forced airlines and ticket agents to show key extra fees more clearly up front, including baggage fees and change or cancellation fees. According to the DOT, that kind of transparency could have saved travelers more than $500 million a year. But major airlines, including American, Delta, United, and industry groups, challenged the rule in court, and the rule was later blocked. So when travelers ask, why can't they just show me the real price from the beginning? That's exactly the issue. The fare gets your attention, the add-ons do the damage. And the same kind of quiet shift is happening to the perks travelers used to count on. Miles, basic economy, even business class tickets. Here's the part that stings. Even the rewards you earned are starting to feel smaller. There was a time when earning enough miles meant you could count on a solid free flight. You knew roughly what it would cost, and if you planned ahead, it felt worth it. That's not really how it works anymore. Major programs like Delta Sky Miles, United Mileage Plus, and American Advantage have moved much more toward dynamic award pricing. In plain English, that means the number of miles you need can rise when the cash price rises. You could fly the exact same route as last year and need thousands more miles for the same seat. And United has taken this even further. After recent changes to Mileage Plus, having a United co-branded credit card matters more than before. Cardholders can earn more miles and get discounts when booking award flights. But if you don't have the card, don't have elite status, and you bought basic economy, you may earn far fewer miles. On some basic economy flights, general members without a United card may earn no redeemable miles at all. You're still flying, but getting rewarded a lot less. Then there's basic economy, the ticket that looks simple until life happens. Lower price, same destination. Sounds fine if everything goes perfectly, but if your schedule changes, your bag situation changes, or you need to sit with someone, the limits can hit fast. No changes, no refunds, limited baggage, sometimes no overhead bin access, depending on the airline. Basic economy can work for a short solo trip with a backpack and a locked-in schedule. But for families, international trips, tight connections, or anything even slightly uncertain, it can put you in a corner fast. And now, that stripped-down fare logic is moving higher up the cabin. United, for example, has introduced a lower-priced Polaris business fare where the seat and onboard service may still feel premium, but some flexibility and extras are trimmed back. Depending on the fare, Advanced seat selection may cost extra, changes may not be allowed, refunds may be limited, checked baggage may be reduced, and lounge access may not match what travelers expect from a higher business class fare. So the label on the ticket may look familiar: economy, basic economy, business. But the value underneath has changed. And once the fare rules start shifting, the airport rules matter even more. Some of the easiest money to lose now comes from tiny rules people barely think about. First, delayed baggage. DOT rules are clear. If your checked bag on a domestic flight doesn't arrive within 12 hours after the plane lands, you're entitled to a full refund of the checked bag fee. Money back. Not a travel credit. But there's one step you cannot skip. Before leaving the airport, go straight to the airline's baggage desk and file a delayed bag report. That report is what starts the refund process. If you walk away and decide to deal with it later, you may make it much harder to get your money back. Now let's talk about the things sitting in half the backpacks at the airport. Power banks. Lithium battery rules aren't new, but enforcement in 2026 is getting much stricter. Power banks under 100 watt-hours are still allowed in carry-on bags, but some carriers are limiting how many you can bring. Others are focused on where you store them, within reach, not buried deep inside a backpack in the overhead bin. If a battery overheats mid-flight, the crew needs access within seconds. So if you're used to tossing 3 or 4 backup chargers into your bag without thinking, that habit can cause problems before you even board. And then there's boarding, which has become one of the most tightly controlled parts of the trip. Overhead bin space is tighter than ever, and airlines are enforcing carry-on rules much more aggressively. If you're flying basic economy, especially on certain US carriers, your fare may only include a personal item, not a full carry-on for the overhead bin. Even if your fare allows a carry-on, boarding later can still mean there's no space left, and your bag gets gate checked whether you like it or not. That's why you see people crowding the gate early. It's not impatience, it's strategy to keep their bag under control. The rulebook is getting more specific and a lot less forgiving. Miss one small detail and you can lose time, money, or both. And if you think that's complicated, wait until you land in Europe, because the entry process there is changing before you even leave the airport. If Europe is on your travel plan, don't assume immigration will feel the same as your last trip. The big change is called EES, the Entry-Exit System. Instead of getting your passport stamped and moving on, travelers will be processed digitally. You may scan your passport, give fingerprints, and take a photo at a kiosk. That information gets stored for future trips, so Europe can track entries and exits without relying on passport stamps. The tricky part is the first-time registration. Picture Paris at 7 a.m. after 3 overnight flights land at once, and half the passengers are trying to figure out where to put their fingers. Families take longer, older travelers may need help, kiosks can back up, and once the machines get crowded, the line can start eating into your morning fast. So if you're connecting through Europe, meeting a tour guide, catching a train, or planning anything shortly after landing, give yourself more breathing room than usual. Now, separate from EES, there's ETIAS. This is where a lot of travelers get confused. ETIAS is the travel authorization Americans will eventually need before visiting many European countries. But it is not active yet. So if a website, email, or social media ad tells you to apply for ETIAS right now and pay a fee, be careful. Some of these fake sites look more official than the official sites, which is impressive in the worst possible way. Don't enter your passport number, don't enter your card, don't assume the first Google result is legit. For now, remember this: EES can slow your arrival, but ETIAS is not something you need to pay for yet. And with all of these changes stacking up, the smartest travelers are changing how they plan before they ever leave home. So what do you do with all of this? You stop booking flights, like the ticket price is the final answer. That's the old way. Now you need to price the whole trip before you pay. Add the checked bag. Add the carry-on if your fare doesn't include it. Add the seat you actually need, especially if you're traveling with kids or someone you need to sit next to. That number is your real fare. Sometimes the ticket that looks more expensive at first is actually cheaper once you include the things you were going to pay for anyway. Basic economy needs the same reset. Don't ask, is this the cheapest ticket? Ask, can I live with this ticket? If my plans change? If the answer is no, skip it. For summer travel, timing still helps. Tuesday and Wednesday flights are often easier on your wallet, and August can be a better bet than July if your schedule is flexible. But don't compare only ticket prices. Compare the full trip cost by date. A cheaper flight can lose fast if it forces you into higher baggage fees, worse seats, a hotel night, or a connection that gives you no room for delays. And on travel day, stop planning around the best case scenario. If you're flying during peak season or through a World Cup host city in June or July, assume the airport may move slower than normal. TSA lines, bag drop, traffic, and boarding can all take longer than expected. Before you leave home, do a quick 3-point check. Fare rules, baggage allowance, power banks. That tiny reset can save you from the most annoying airport sentence in the world. Actually, that's not allowed with your ticket. The travelers who handle the new system best aren't lucky. They know the real cost, know what their ticket includes, and leave enough room for one thing to go wrong without wrecking the whole trip. Airlines have changed the game in small ways that add up fast. So if you're still planning to fly, fly like someone who read the fine print before the airport made them regret it. Now I want to hear from you. What's the one airline fee that still annoys you the most? Bag fees? Seat selection? Paying extra just to sit with your family? Drop it in the comments because I know everybody has at least one. And if this helped you avoid even one expensive surprise, hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.